statement regarding the expiry of Ugandan national identification cards. Right Honourable Speaker and Honourable Members, I present this statement in relation to the expired Ugandan national identification cards in order to provide clarity on the measures taken by the Ministry to address this issue. Section 694 of the Registration of Persons Act, Cap 332, provides that a national identification card shall be valid for such a period as the Minister may prescribe by regulations. Right Honourable Speaker and Honourable Members, previously under the Regulation 19 of the ROPA Statutory Instrument number 67 of 2015, the validity of national IDs was prescribed as 10 years. However, in recognition of the need for immediate intervention, in August last year, the Ministry issued the Registration of Persons Amendment Regulations number 67 of 2024, which extended the validity period of all national identification cards issued by NIRA by 1 additional year. This was in light of the planned mass enrollment, which had delayed, so we wanted a stopgap measure. Right Honourable Speaker and members, consequently, all identification cards initially issued with a validity period of 10 years are now valid for 11 years from the date of issuance. Right Honourable Speaker and members, the inclusion of expiry dates on Ugandan national identification cards serves practical, legal and security purposes as justified below. 1. Updating security features. Technology and security measures evolve rapidly. An expiry date ensures that identification cards can be periodically updated to incorporate advanced security features, making them less susceptible to forgery or misuse. Right Honourable Speaker and Honourable Members, regular renewal cycles are a proactive measure to maintain the integrity of the national identification system. Number 2, data accuracy and currency. Over time, personal details such as physical appearance, addresses, and contact information may also change. An expiry date encourages citizens to update their information periodically, ensuring that NIRA maintains an accurate and up-to-date database. 3, wear and tear. Right Honourable Speaker and members, physical identification cards are subject to wear and tear over time due to regular use. An expiry date allows for the timely replacement of cards to ensure that their functionality and readability, which is critical for verifying identity, remains valid. Number 4, international standards and compliance. Section 5(2) of the Registration of Persons Act, Cap 332,
procedure.
Mr. Speaker, I had thought that these changes were meant to protect the Speaker. The way the Honorable Gwanga has run, even jumped barricades. So the procedural issue I am raising, Mr. Speaker, is whether colleagues must not be educated that the new changes actually are meant. You simply can't go and begin interacting with the Speaker like the Minister of Education was doing.
Thank you. I can see you're very attentive when I was watching closely. They were, of course, meant for wrong people, and Honorable Peter is not one of them. He made for me a sign that he needed to share with me something. So when you need to come here, you need first make a sign, and then I judge you, I say. Because some of you look at me with threatening eyes, so that I'm able to know whether you're dangerous or not. Okay? Thank you. Like chances of allowing Honorable Semuja are very minimal when he wants to come here.
Right Honourable Speaker, I was actually worried when the Honourable Akol kept standing, but I think he has left. That said, Right Honorable Speaker and the Honorable Members, we had reached data accuracy and currency. Over time, personal details such as physical appearance, addresses, and contact information may change, and expiry date encourages citizens to update their information periodically, ensuring that NERA maintains an accurate and up-to-date database. Wear and tear. Physical identification cards are subject to wear and tear over time due to regular use, and expiry date allows for their timely replacement of the cards to ensure their functionality and readability, which is critical for verifying identity. 4. International standards compliance. Section 5(2) of the ROPA provides that NERA shall observe general accepted information security practices and procedures and specific industry or professional rules and regulations. Document 9303, International Civil Aviation Organization, ICAO Machine Readable Travel Documents, MRTD 8th edition 2021 Part 9, provides that deployment of biometric identification and electronic storage of data in MRTDs, Section 2.2, provides for the validity period of these documents under which identification cards fall, which is 10 years. This therefore aligns Uganda with international standards and facilitates the use of the national identification card for cross-border travel and other international purposes. Right Honorable Speaker, Honorable Members, Section 695 of the ROPA imposes a duty on NERA to renew expired IDs upon application by the holders. In addition to Regulation 23 of the ROPA, of the regulations, it requires that holders of national IDs apply to NERA for renewal at least 2 months before the expiry. The expiry of a national identification card does not, under any circumstances, amount to expiry of a person's citizenship. Because this has been a repeated worry, so we need to amplify it for the public to know. Section 695 of the Registration of Persons Act makes this clear, and Section 682 affirms that an individual's national identification number is prima facie evidence of citizenship. The NIN is a lifetime number which remains valid until the demise of the holder of a card. Right Honorable Speaker and members, the Ministry is aware of the challenges faced by citizens holding these expired IDs, particularly while using them as travel documents within the region, and these challenges are in spite of the extension of the validity period here in Uganda. To address this challenge, the Ministry engaged with the Sister Ministry of East African Affairs and that of Foreign Affairs to signal the other EAC member states about this provisional time-bound measure. Our aim is to secure acceptance of this interlude measure of extended IDs for travel purposes within the region. Nonetheless, we are also soon starting the mass enrollment and renewal exercise, albeit slightly later than earlier planned, but nevertheless still within the stipulated time, to renew all the expired national identity cards and also enlist fresh eligible entrants on the National Identity Information Register. I wish to inform this House that NERA is actively developing new technological advancements to enhance the National Security Information System and improve the security features of our National Identification Card before the commencement of the mass enrollment exercise. The long-term plan, because this has been also a query by the public, is to introduce EIDs with no expiry, a measure that will save costs and reduce the inconvenience associated with mass physical card renewals. Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, the extension of the validity period by an extra period of 1 year provides the necessary time frame to integrate these upgrades into the renewal process, as well as mitigate any of the arising inconveniences regarding service delivery before renewal, thus improving the overall functionality and security of the system and the cards. The extension, therefore, is a provisional stopgap measure and not a substitute for new national identification cards. Right Honorable Speaker and members, I will assure you that the Ministry of Internal Affairs is committed to ensuring that the identity and rights of Ugandan citizens are protected and upheld. The ministry shall continue working tirelessly to ensure a smooth mass renewal and mass enrollment exercise of the national identification cards. I beg to submit, Right Honourable Speaker and Honourable Members.
Thank you. Honourable colleagues, this is a straightforward statement. I'll just pick 2 from NRM, 1 from opposition, 1 independent. Okay? Honourable Migade, Honourable Bazir, Shadow Minister, and yes, a Shadow Minister is not a minister. And then, and I'm looking for an independent. I think Honourable Roland is an independent. Honourable Bigarozi are not an independent. Yes, so let's do quickly, 2 minutes each.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable
Opposition,
Speaker.
the Shadow Minister.
Right Honourable Speaker.
And I'll also pick 1 party president in Honourable Basari.
Many parents have been denied birth certificates for their children because their national IDs, their NIN numbers are expired. So you cannot obtain or get birth certificates for the child. So my request is, this issue should be prioritized for renewal and issuance of new national IDs. It should be prioritized, and also the process of renewal should be decentralized, at least to parish level, because our people face challenges to move to nearer offices. They are very distant and it is very costly for them. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Honourable Ministers, you come. I just want to know, when you say you extended, also did you take advantage of the software you have to indeed adjust the dates online, so that if I'm scanning, it doesn't just show expired. Otherwise, this original ID, you're reading from the chip, okay? So the chip is connected to a software. I just go, I adjust on the date to allow up to this period. Otherwise, I don't understand when people say that indeed, when they try to scan, it shows that it's expired. That's a software issue which should easily be handled. Haji?
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker, and we appreciate the statement of the Minister. Right Honourable Speaker, remember very well this Parliament appropriated money for purposes of NIRA carrying out a mass enrollment or renewal. In the statement of the Minister, it is lacking how far they have gone and when we are expecting that mass enrollment or mass renewal. Remember, it was first scheduled for July, and then it was extended for January, this January. As we talk now, there is no clear program, and as you are aware, EC and NIRA, they are working hand in hand. And that is one of the issues which has been complained by members. 1 kit of NIRA has been distributed per sub-county. So it is hard to handle the registration of people, which is ongoing right now, because it is only 1 kit per sub-county. What is the clear deadline when we are expecting the mass renewal or mass registration of the people, since the money was long released? Thank you.
Honourable Roland?
Thank you so much, Right Honourable Speaker. I would like to take this opportunity also to add my voice in thanking the Minister for his statement. Number one, as a Parliament, I think the people, we owe our people a duty to guide this country on so many matters. But what is important, Right Honourable Speaker, and the issue I would like to raise, is different government agencies' failure to work together to come up with solutions for our people. For example, Right Honourable Speaker, we have just had a census conducted by UBOS. Now we have registration being done by NIRA. Then the Electoral Commission is also updating the register, the voters register. If all those agencies could come together and we have the same information, because we are talking about the same people, same Ugandans, we wouldn't be having so many challenges. As raised by Honorable Basil, the registration of birth and death is, I don't know if it is being done, because if it was being done, then that information would be readily available. Right, Honorable Speaker, imagine an era where we were in analog, and our people were registered in the books at the sub-county. Even today, an old person of 60 years can go to the sub-county and find there their details, the date of birth. If someone died, they would register them. Why wouldn't we do e-registration, and then we have things online, so that I don't have to come to Kampala or to move from Ruchiga to Kabale district to look for an era office to put there my details. Finally, Right Honorable Speaker, the matter I want to raise is about the expiry, because the minister says it is a long-term objective. Why don't we do it right now? Is what is lacking software to do that, so that we understand if during this budget process we can give you money to procure a software where all the people can be registered, and then the data is captured so that it is seamless. Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker.
Finally, I chose the people already, Honorable Alexander.
Thank you.
And I had allowed the president. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to thank the Minister for the statement. For us in Kabaremaido, Mr. Speaker, and I guess the whole country, the identity card has become the key for access to all government programs. And in Kabaremaido, our older people are the ones who are facing the greatest challenge. First of all, because of distance, they can't access the services even when they are available. But also, there's a lot of competition for just the service. Every time that machine is available for registration, the young people will take advantage, and the older people can't access. And some of them cannot even move. So if the machine could be availed and goes to the parish, or if during those days of registration, like now when we're going for mass registration, if we could avail like a day when these older people come, for instance, for their SAGE allowances, they would be able to be registered as older people. The same applies. Right now, I think Electoral Commission has done a great effort to try and map out both the disabled in every parish. But those disabled people cannot move to look for where the machines are. I think if there was an affirmative action from NIRA to make sure that those older people and the weak are targeted, because they can't access all the other services. And then the other is that I don't know what's wrong. Sometimes either by change of age or what, the biometrics seem to be affected. I have people who have a right identity card, but they cannot register a SIM card. When they are taking their fingerprints, they don't match what is there. And I don't know how to answer that. Thank you.
In fact, that's the same issue Honorable Chiboga was raising here with me. Because he said especially women who are digging and all those people who are in the digging. No, washing clothes cannot do. Yes. That can't you have another method beyond thumbprint and what? Can't you have another method captured on the ID? Mr. No, please, I mentioned the members who are going to speak on this.
Mr. Chairman,
in Parliament, we don't deal with peculiar matters. And
Right Honourable Speaker, I want to thank you.
You banned peculiar gadgets around, so.
And I want to thank the Minister for the statement. Right Honourable Speaker, 3 issues. Number 1, on the issue of expiry, we are finding ourselves in this situation because of the Minister. Right Honourable Speaker, expiry dates are set by the Minister. In fact, Section 69 that you quoted is the one that gives you the mandate to set expiry dates. And I don't know your justification for setting 10 years. You did talk about wear and tear and the rest. NIRA by nature should be in position to provide continuous registration services. without necessarily setting expiry dates. You are now finding ourselves in a very big dilemma, right, Honourable Speaker. Even the 1 year extension, and it was gazetted, there was a statutory instrument. Even the 1 year extension, there is a very big likelihood that the mass registration will not commence within that period. And what that means is that the minister will again give another extension. So I want to propose, Minister, that instead of setting your deadlines at 10 years, you could consider extending or setting a deadline that will not be problematic in terms of implementation. Because this parliament gave you that authority under the ROPA regulations that you are quoting. Secondly, right, Honourable Speaker, there is another challenge. You will come to mass registration and the like. A minister issued regulations making it an offense not to register under those regulations. But he didn't put into consideration the fact that sometimes failure to register is on their part. I want to request, right, Honourable Speaker, that this fine of 40,000 that you put in the regulations should be scrapped. Because, as we have seen even with the Electoral Commission, just with the NIRA, sometimes the difficulty comes from your part, your machines become faulty, in some places the human resource is not there. This burden should not be visited on the wananchi. So I want to propose, Minister, that under Regulation 23 of the ROPA, where you are putting a fine of 40,000 shillings, you still have the mandate that fine should be scrapped to give people opportunity to register, and as a matter of policy, registration should be a continuous process. I thank you, Right Honourable Speaker.
Thank you. Honourable Minister, you had promised to, I remember it was last time when we were talking about recruitment of the officers to help in this exercise. Many of the people who applied are in the public just waiting. What's going on, Honourable Minister? And when are you registering Aryans? I'm told there is an issue of Aryans.
Right Honourable Speaker, maybe could I run through
Sure.
the questions of members? Starting with the Honourable Bataringa, I think I concur with him. His idea is that we decentralize further than the district for ease of people getting birth certificates. But I want also to say that many institutions register, especially hospitals, because they are the first call centers for people who deliver, and then they only inform NIRA. But point taken, Honourable Bataringa, our idea is to be reachable, and I take your point and concern. Honourable Chirabo talked about the same issue, more or less, decentralization. But I want to correct her that NINs don't expire, because she mentioned that identification numbers expire. They don't. What expires is the physical card. The Honourable Speaker talked about whether the Right Honourable Speaker, whether we adjusted the software or only did the legal aspect of extension. Unfortunately, we did the latter. We didn't adjust the software to synchronize it with the adjustment in the time frame legally. And that is the problem this is causing to us as the members are complaining. Right Honourable Kiwanuka, mass enrollment and renewal, when is it starting? Indeed, this House appropriated money for the exercise. I want to report that the processes are ongoing. Equipment is now in country. Training is taking place on that new equipment. People are recruited, and actually we used them a little bit in the mop-up exercise for the people we thought would make 18 by 2026 in schools. I think you had members saying, what is NIRA doing in schools? We wanted to catch up so that we don't lose that time to wait for mass enrollment. For now, Honourable Kiwanuka, we don't want to confuse the public. For you to do updates and then start enrollment. The EC said, first hold your exercise, we finish the updates, and then start on mass enrollment. But we are going to begin. As promised, you gave the money, and we must deliver, Honourable Kiwanuka. The Honourable Ndiomjenyi, Why don't we work in a concerted way as government? Yes, UBOS, EC, NIRA, but these are different outputs. UBOS doesn't take fingerprints, they just count people. EC is fed by NIRA. So I want members to understand the functions of each of these institutions and what they do and how they complement each other. The transition from physical to the digital ID also depends on many factors. Yes, Honorable Semuju.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. So the information I wanted to give, we are spending a lot of money by different deployments. For example, and I am picking the point from Honorable Chiwanuka. If you train the people to go and do enumeration, they can be the same people who will do registration. Right now, the people who are doing registration actually is not Electoral Commission, it is actually NIRA, but helping Electoral Commission, because I have asked them and they have told me that you're going to pay them and then recall the people, but also recall the equipment. And then tomorrow use the same people and money to redeploy them. I thought that's the point that Honorable Chiwanuka was making. Just do one deployment, train people to do work for all the institutions, then they do it at once.
Thank you, Honorable Semuju. Some of the resources can be shared. I agree with you, like people. Actually, the people who are doing the update are NIRA who are resident in the districts, using the old kit, not the new one, because the new one needs training on them. So we thought it's wise to use the old kit, using NIRA people to help EC. And indeed, I think some of these costs can be rationalized and shared, like the Honorable Andiomjeni and Chiwanuka said, and later complemented by Honorable Semuju. Transition when? Why not now? Why not later? Now, of course, we are going to do, hopefully, what will be the last physical ID mass enrollment. Money is already spent. The processes are ongoing. So certainly we can't transition to the e-system. But also there are other factors. The country is mainly still, many people don't have smartphones. Internet access is limited. So all those factors, I think, need to be taken care of before we finally shift to the digital ID. But I hope and believe that this will be the last physical card renewal and enrollment exercise this country undertakes. Then Honorable Edakas talked about fingerprints. Fingerprints diminish. It's true. Most people, the rounded fellows who do manual labor are affected. But we are going to introduce new features in the ID which will take care of this, especially the iris. It will be taken, and that one will take care of this worry of only relying on fingerprints. The Honorable Asumani talked about this being our creation, the problem we are facing. Why not more than 10 years? 10 years is international practice, Honorable Asumani, and we don't want to be the deviant in the room, but also we think this will be the last time that this is happening. And I want to lay the fears of members. We shall start mass enrollment before the 1-year extension expires. The failure to register, that is an administrative issue which we can review. It's not cast in stone, and I think we can look at it and then take action.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. Next item.
item 3.2, statement of the progress of prepayment meter ya upgrade.